I'm Josh, and I'm here with Cranford. So, how long have you been at Clubhouse?
I think I started here uh, like April last year.
Okay. Um, and how exactly does Clubhouse help you?
Well, I went through art therapy and therapy, with a counselor, a therapist at Penn Foundation for a year and a half. Um, and when I got to a point of a year sober, um, I my therapist said, "Well, where do we go from here? We basically run the course here. What do you think you need? And I said, "Well, I really need friends. I don't have really many friends. I've been through. I have. I had managed a lot of people, in that I had been a prison chaplain and then started the ministry among the homeless with hundreds of volunteers in both those um, capacities, and then lots of people on the street and so forth. And so I said, I need friends. And so she recommended the clubhouse and
Yeah.
referred me here. And I met the qualifications in that I've had um, uh, uh, several mental health diagnoses, starting with um, bipolar back when I was, I guess the first bipolar diagnosis was when I was 30, and then severe depressive disorder, and then bipolar 1 and 2. I'm not sure which one was first, but both of them. And then, uh, so uh, then as things deteriorated with my um, marriage, uh, and with the other things going on, the uh, uh, turning to alcohol, that the alcoholism was became a factor. So, um, yeah, so I qualified. uh, so I, but I needed friends if I was going to survive.
Yeah.
And so this has been a good fit. And I'm kind of very much a strange bird. Um, and so this is a good place to be.
Um, it is a great place to be. I have to agree.
Yeah.
Well, so what helps in your recovery?
Um, well, actually having something to do, um, and so that's where my art comes in. That's something to do at home, where to be involved in art, and then so what happens here at Clubhouse is to have social interaction and a task here. Everyone has tasks to do, and so for my first, where I fell in here was in the kitchen cooking first, and then really getting involved doing dishes. And now I'm trying to get the cafe, the concession stand here into shape.
Yeah.
So, what was the question again?
It's okay. It
What
was
helps me in my recovery?
recovery. Yeah, we were
Yeah,
talking about your
yeah,
art and how
yeah,
you
and
art.
yeah, and so what happened was I have I have migraine. I have migraines that cause strokes, and that started when oh 2010. They really migraines started when I was in college, off and on, and then they appeared again in 2010, where I had several migraines that landed me in the hospital with. They caused 6 strokes. Well, 3 strokes at the beginning of the summer, and then 3 more at the end of the summer. And they were like, are the strokes causing the migraines, or are the migraines causing the strokes? And so they did a test, and they found out that my migraines were causing a stroke due to the fact that I didn't have certain arteries in my brain. They never developed adult arteries. I only had like 4 or 5 visitors in the hospital. Well, I wasn't allowed visitors when I was in ICU, but one of the visitors that I had was one of the homeless men that I knew, and he came through the snow. He came to where the train brought him as far as Lansdale, then or Colmar, I guess, and then took the bus as far as Landis parking lot in Telford, and then walked from there to Grandview Hospital.
Oh my gosh.
In the snow, 5.5 miles. And then he wouldn't sit down the whole time. He got into my hospital room and was just beside himself that there was a walker in my room and I needed to use it, and a wheelchair, and I needed to use them. And he said, did anyone else come? And I, from that homeless from the street, I said, no. I said, look what you went through. I said, and he wouldn't sit down the whole time he was there. He says, you come and you come and you come, and you keep coming, others come, and then they don't come. And he comes every year on my birthday to the train station in Colmar and brings a cake that I can't eat. He knows that. And flowers, a bouquet of flowers to wish me happy birthday. With my name spelled who knows how, because no one can understand his Albanian accent. And we talked like 2 old men about what meds are you on, how's your health, how's your weight, do you see the doctor regularly? I love him. I helped him learn English. I helped him gain his citizenship. He was a political prisoner in Albania for listening to Radio Free Europe. He says, I love you, my brother. I pray, go to Basilica Saints Peter and Paul and pray for you daily.
That's a really great friendship to have, especially somebody who keeps coming.
Yeah. And so it's not that I don't have some faithful friends. I do, but they're scattered across the world, across the globe. And, it's like the little girl who, when her father was tucking her in at night and said, God is everywhere. He's with you. And the girl says, yes, but sometimes you want somebody with skin on. It's good. You need friends with skin on.
Yeah. Well, it was really great talking to you, Cranford. Is there anything else you have that we didn't mention that you wanted to talk about, or?
Well, like I said, the clubhouse. I'm kind of a weird bird, and so clubhouse is a good fit for me. There's a lot of other strange birds here, and so it's not necessarily a place where people that they can't tolerate oddness. And I don't want to put people down. I don't put people down. We're all. It's like the old Quaker saying. Everyone, all of us are a bit queer. It's not. This is a different era.
Yeah.
Even the even how does it go? Me, even me and thee are also a bit queer.
Which is like we're all odd in our own
We're all
way.
odd in our own way. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're all odd, a little bit odd, and we learn tolerance. We learn tolerance, and and there's a high degree of tolerance here, and it's we don't usually call it love here, but it really is. It really is, and that's healing. It's healing. We're not real demonstrative, but that tolerance of difference, we could use more of it out there in the